Hi friends, welcome back to the pumpkin patch. So we're looking at one of my Big Max pumpkins. I have 4 plants, one over there and there's 2 to my left and then this big guy. And I just noticed yesterday that I got my first little wannabe mama. So I'm waiting for this bloom to open so that this little fruited part behind her can get fertilized. Then there's some green ones, and if you look further back, look, see her little yellow bulb at the base? That's another female bloom. So there's a whole line of that. And then if you keep coming back towards the center, these are the males. So they have a straighter, longer stem with no bulb behind it. So the trick is to get the pollen from this bloom, which is a male, all the way across, boom-de-boom-de-boom-de-boom, like a busy little bee, bzz. And when this bloom opens, that pollen that's on this busy bee's little feet, we'll go investigate that bloom and we'll pollinate that so we can get a fruit. I want pumpkins. I want pumpkins. I didn't know if it was just time of growth that was keeping my plant from producing any female blossoms, or if it was a lack of pollinators. Because there were literally, look, I know it's early, but there's no pollinators over here. All the pollinators are over there behind that greenhouse where all that pollinator garden is. They're all crazy over there. So I actually brought down some plants, this plant and this one, that were in front of my porch. I thought maybe the plant is sensitive to its surroundings. Maybe the plant itself realized there were no pollinators around. I don't know what a plant thinks, but they've been surviving for a millennia. So, like my ferns, if y'all remember when I took you to show you the ferns and how the ferns are dropped by spores onto the ground. The spores are dropped by the mother plant, and then the fern babies grow, and they're genderless at first until there's chemicals that cause the fern fronds, whatever it's called, the little baby pup ferns, to realize, oh, hey, we need more boys in this area. And so it will turn into a boy fern, a male fern, or if there's not enough females in the area, it will actually turn into a female fern to colonize. So maybe these plants know the same thing, or maybe it is just time. I don't know. Maybe the vine, I don't know. This is gonna be a girl. She's got a little fruit behind her. The girls are fruity. All right, we'll do an update later. I'll see when that bloom opens. We'll see if we can't get either some busy bees down here, or I'm gonna have to get busy myself and help these little mamas out.
Hello, excuse me. Could I interest you in a pumpkin? It's just right over here around the corner. It's a big, lovely flower. You can't miss it. Excuse me. Hello. Yes, it's a lovely big pumpkin. It's called a pumpkin. No takers. Fine. Yes, hello, excuse me. Large bug. Do you like pumpkins? Excuse me, hello. Yes, sir. Do you like pumpkins? I know where there's some pumpkin blooms. Anybody? Surely there must be someone in here.
No? Where is everybody? Yeah, so it's called a pumpkin, and it's right, it's just right over here if you want to follow me. It's called a pumpkin.
Well, I understand the allure of bee balm, but I mean, it's so common. Hello, everybody likes bee balm, but these are big, giant, orange flowers. They're going to be magnificent plants if you just give pumpkin a try. Look, Aunt. Hello, Aunt. Excuse me. Um, Jeez, they don't even want to talk about it.
So, I mean, I know you understand where I'm coming from, right? I mean, it's a big orange flower, and well, it's kind of yellow, but I mean, you could totally relate to that plant, right? Yeah, it's called a pumpkin. It's just right over the hill. I mean, if you have an extra pollinator, could you maybe send it over? It doesn't really matter if it's, crawling or flying. I'm sure the pumpkin doesn't care. But yeah, if you could just spare a pollinator, maybe you send it over. Yeah, you got some interesting things going on here. You're a very interesting looking plant. I must say, I'm very impressed with your freckles. Yeah, you're kind of cool.
So what's up with the petals coming out of the center? What's up with that? What's your story? Well, you look like you can get around pretty well. I wonder if I could interest you in a pumpkin plant. It's just right over the hill there. No, not today? Alrighty. So I understand the allure of variety. I notice that they're sort of ignoring these zinnias right now too, because there's just too many other temptations in the garden right now. Seems nobody's interested in my pumpkin pollination. Oh, hey, excuse me.
Hi, Seed. Come here. Come here. Let's put you in the ditch where you'll grow a beautiful Where'd you go? Even the seeds aren't listening to me.
Well, I'm sure there is a lot going on in dragonfly world today. I'm certainly not here to disrupt that, but fine.
Wow, you two are an interesting pair. So how did you two meet? Well, yeah, I mean, I understand it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, we're talking about the tulipians versus the daisyites. So, how's everything going on in Carnation?
So anyway, I am stopping to discuss it with everybody, but I'm making this extra special plea with all of the orange and the yellow flowers. And I'm thinking maybe if you could spare a pollinator, you could send it over to the pumpkin. That'd be really cool. That'd be awesome. Thanks. Well, so I realize gourds, are cousins to the pumpkins, but maybe you can understand the plight. So if I can't get a male bloom and a female bloom to open at the same time over there and convince some pollinators to go over there, then I thought maybe we could come to you and find a male volunteer. It's my understanding that y'all can pollinate each other. Y'all don't have a problem with that. I certainly don't have a problem with that. We'll still get pumpkins out of the deal. We could still save seeds from the plants. So yeah, I mean, if you wouldn't mind, it would help your cousin out. That'd be great. Well, here we are, just 24 hours since the last time we checked. And look how much larger those buds are. Wow. Let's go over here and check the other one. Let's see what we got. Oh, wow. Big difference. Where's that little one? Well, I don't see the little one now. Anyway, we're getting closer. I think these blossoms will open tomorrow. You hear that, boys? Maybe tomorrow.
Okay, it's early morning, which is when your blooms open, your blossoms open, and usually they're nice and all the way open and inviting to pollinators. It's early in the morning, so it's about 9:15. So my male flower is open, but we had a rain, so it's too wet right now to try to pollinate. But I was right, the female did open, and as soon as both are dry, we'll come down here and hand pollinate. We're gonna help this little mama out. Okay, while we're waiting for stuff to dry, which I don't even know if that's gonna happen today, because I'm spending so much time with my pumpkin vine, I'm realizing that I have a secondary vine. So the vine starts over there and it comes this way and then it actually goes off that way, which is where my mama pumpkin's gonna be, is that direction. But this right here is a secondary vine and I don't want that. So I sanitize my shears. I'm just simply gonna come down in here and snap this off because we don't want this part of the vine. We want to concentrate all the energy on the mamas that we're going to get. Now with Big Mac's pumpkins, I was reading online, this is my first experience with them, that I was reading online that you can, if you let it go natural, you can get 3-5 pumpkins per vine. And she needs to grow, you know, you need your 10 feet of growth space, you need one main vine. But you don't want any secondary or tertiary vines. So you just want all your energy here. So because this one wants to put off 2 babies, I'm gonna let this one have 2. And then the one behind me, I'm gonna have 1. And then all the way down on the end, I'm gonna try to just do an experiment and just let her go natural. And the third one, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I'm gonna see how that vine develops. But make sure you sanitize because you don't want any diseases in there. It's like a little surgery. All right, so let's try an experiment. So this male blossom is off of my gourd plants and they're all cucurbitas, but they're not exactly the same family. So I'm gonna try to cross-pollinate a female on my Big Macs with a gourd from my ornamental gourds. Anyway, there's no guarantee that she'll make a fruit. If she doesn't like it, she'll get pollinated and then the fruit will wilt and die off. But I've got others that it won't affect the others. So this was just an experiment and we'll just have to remember this bloom. So and this one's ready to go. It's got little sugar ants all over it and he's ready to go. So let's peel these petals back. Okay, it's a little blurry. I don't know how to, but there. So there's lots of pollen there. So we're just going to put this pollen into this plant. And all you do is just kind of rub it around. Okay, technically she's pollinated. Now, I'm gonna zip her up just because I really kind of don't want her pollinated by another plant. I really want to see what happens with this one. So let's just zip her up. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I'm so excited. I freaking love science. All right. So now we'll see what happens with this one. And we'll let the others, we'll make sure that we find a male from the Big Macs to pollinate the next one. And we want to let her have at least 2 babies. If this one falls off, then we'll just pollinate a second female from further back. But anyway, this was super exciting. I know you guys can tell from my voice. I'm so excited about this. You know, this bud may not like this pollen and it may just fall off. And if it does, it does. And then there's always the variable of the deer. So baby is a very bad deer and he has eaten my lilies, my tomatoes, my hostas, and he's eaten my sunflowers to the ground. I hope baby doesn't find these pumpkins. But emotionally, I have to be ready for that because that deer does live here. All right, guys. Thanks for following me on this video. Oh, there's going to be more updates, I promise you. Love and light.